now welcome Byron Archambault on to Crown Countdown U. Byron, thanks for joining us and making the time.
All right, no problem.
Byron, what is it like to be in a town like Montreal that loves their champion so much? It must have been quite the tour for you and the rest of your teammates after winning the Vanier Cup. Can you take me through the last couple of months?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Finishing at the end of November, though, as a student, it was kind of rough, having to finish our semesters and make sure that we pass all our classes because I'm going towards the end of my degree. So it was, it was very different. The atmosphere in Montreal, people recognizing us on the streets and everything, but we still had to remain focused on finishing our school homework and stuff.
I'm sure one of the highlights must have been being introduced at Centre Bell before a Montreal Canadiens game. There was quite a reception for you guys there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a huge Habs fan, so for me it was an honor to be on the ice with my teammates and to have everyone stand up and give us the ovation that they did. It was quite something.
We'll talk a little bit about your team and your training methods in a second, but I want to know, how did you grow as a player facing the Laval Rouge et Or offensive line and blocking scheme 3 times a year? Because that had to be a huge plus in your development, even though they're your rivals.
Definitely. I have great respect for that team. By the way, I know we're rivals, and when we're on the field, we hate each other, but they're always great games, and they're always games that you leave out everything that you have on the field, but you always come out learning a lot about yourself and about what you can work on and be a better player. And going up against that offensive line definitely gives you a lot of tests to challenge you. And having guys like Danny Maciocia and Charles Vaillancourt push you around, it gets the tough out of you. It makes you have to make sure that you're at your best and that you're at your most stable, or else they'll be able to move the pile pretty well.
Talk to me about Coach Maciocia and how he worked with the defense in this past year, and specifically how he worked with you in terms of preparing for the Combine, because here's a guy with a great professional track record, and once he puts his pro glasses on, he obviously must know what he would want to see out of a prospect. How much did that help you prepare up for this moment in this coming draft?
Well, it's been more than this past year for me. As soon as I got here at the University of Montreal, he installed this pro system, this pro approach to our whole football mentality, and that's something that got me evolving from day one here at the University of Montreal. Just the way I was watching tape, the way I was correcting myself after every practice, every drill was filmed. You were always watched. If you were walking from drill to drill, you'd be called out in the meeting room the next day. So you had to make sure that you were a soldier every day and you were ready to go, and ready to give your best at every play and not slack, because coaches like Danny and Noel Thorpe, they'll make sure to catch you when you're slacking, and that's when they'll make sure to correct you, and if they have to expose you, they will. And that's something that it's important in a player's career, because at the next level, that's definitely something that's going to cost you. So from day one for me, he's been a huge factor, and in this past year, he's been helping me a lot develop my techniques and making sure that I'm expand the way that I play into many different areas of my game, making sure that on the special teams, I offer great film, making sure that in multiple phases of the defensive plays that I had to make, that I could be able to cover, that I could be able to pass rush and be efficient on the run. So Danny's done great stuff with me in this past year, informing me for the interviews and this whole process, and how not to get caught up with it, and to make sure that you're staying true to yourself throughout this process. He's really been helpful for me.
A lot of people have been focusing on your numbers in the bench press, but really that shuttle number that you put up, challenging a guy like Nick Dembski, that's got to speak a lot to your pro potential in terms of a test, because I think if there's one worry out there for anyone playing on a Canadian field in your position, it's the ability to have that agility and to be able to have that lateral speed. How important was that for you?
Well, I've always been fast on the shuttle. People just didn't ask me, you know. It's something that we take a great pride in here. You know, at every year we get tested on our shuttle, and our shuttle attracts as much attention as the bench press here at the Carabins. So I wasn't anxious at all. I knew I was going to be able to put up some solid numbers at my shuttle. My goal for me was to be able to show the teams that I was able to move in space, because obviously we've seen. I mean, I've been on the line a lot, you know, as a flex linebacker. So you see me most as maybe a more physical linebacker, more than a quick or fast one on the field, I guess, because I'm not covering as much. But that doesn't mean that I can't do it, because like I told the teams in my interviews, if you watch film on my 2012 season, I was mostly off the line and covering receivers, man-to-man, zone coverage. You know, those are stuff that I can do. It's just that with the scheme that we were playing here at the University of Montreal, I had a job to do, and I did it. You know, that's the type of guy I am. We all have a role on our defensive staff, and when everyone does their job well, that's how you become a champion.
I believe you've taken some weight off in training leading up to the Combine. How important is that in terms of changing your body shape and getting the speed up just about a quarter of a step in terms of special teams and in terms of that lateral speed?
Well, I've always liked being heavy. I think that's what you mostly see out of that bench press. It's not that, yeah, okay, 41 reps is okay, but it's mostly, it shows you that I like being in the gym and bench pressing and eating a lot and being a heavy guy. So what I have to show them is that I can move my weight around. You know, if they ask me to come into camp at 230 pounds, well, I've played at 230 pounds. I can do that. But obviously, when I went to Denver for the regional NFL combines, I was at 250. So that's a 20-pound range there that I'm showing them that I can move. I can move within that range, and if they want me to be more on the line and be heavier, well, I can do that. If they want me to be a little bit slimmer, well, I can do that as well. So I'm still leaning down right now. Actually, I'm at 238 pounds. So I was at 243 pounds at the E camp. So I'm just trying to show the coaches that whatever I want to do, I can. And you know, with my body, I have great control over it. So that's my main goal.
That doesn't matter where you're picked in the draft. Is it just a matter of seizing the opportunity?
Definitely. I mean, as far as that goes, you know, from year to year, you could have some huge draft classes to some draft classes where you don't see much starting potential. You know, for me, first round to the last round, I mean, I guess it's mostly just making sure that I can give a positive impact to that team right away. You know, and as far as special teams goes, I'm convinced that I could have an impact for a CFL team next year. But I even want to show that on the defensive side, I could be used in some packages as well, and that that I have the head to go. You know, that I have the head to go through a CFL season, because a lot of the people focus on the physical training and making sure that you're ready physically to run all these tests at the E camp. But what I think the real challenge is the mental aspect, that you know you're playing football because you love it. You're playing football because you know that's what you want to do more than anything else. But there's a lot of guys there that are there for the salary. The game is changing. You have different aspects that you've never dealt with, and it's how are you able to adapt to situations like that and facing much bigger crowds and a lot more pressure. How can you face that going into a season? And that's where I think I impress coaches.
Byron, thanks very much for this. We understand we're holding you back from training right now, so get back to the gym, okay?
All right. Thank you very much.